Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific chat. Tonight, I'm joined by director, screenwriter, and voiceover artist Clayton Ritchie to discuss his inspirations, aspirations, and journey into horror. Well, Clayton, welcome to the show. I know we've been trying to get this organised for a while. It's great to have you on board.
Thank you for having me.
We nearly didn't start the stream because we just got a date, and we could have been like half an hour late.
Yeah, too busy talking.
Here, that's what we're here to do. So,
Yeah, probably better if the cameras were on.
yeah, that's what people. Yeah, we had a great chat, but yeah, oh yeah, that's when you forgot to do something. Press the same button. No, but honestly, mate, great to have you on board. I've been looking forward to having a chat with you. Obviously through our mutual friend Dale, we sort of come in contact with each other, and yeah, I've been keeping up to date with some of your work. And first thing is first, you wear quite a few hats. You have quite a lot going on. You've different skill sets that you're bringing across and offering out to people.
Yeah.
How do you manage your time? How do you give priorities to the right things and not get overwhelmed or spread yourself too thin? Because a lot of people try to do that. They try to be all things and then end up not actually doing anything because they end up just spinning wheels. How do you manage it?
You just basically got to. You do actually have to prioritize your what you're doing. Work on one thing at a time. If you get stumped on that one, like when I'm writing a script or so, I get stumped, so I'll move on to script read. I've got a couple of scripts ready to go for script read. I'll start recording that. Then basically when I get bored of that, I'll move on to something else. I don't try to write a script at the same time, record my voice. Then with the directing, pretty much, to be honest, Undying Love, I did get a little bit overwhelmed with it because I was pretty much assistant writer, director, scout locations, set designer, pretty much everything.
That's the problem being a one-man band, isn't it? And just doing it all, not having the infrastructure built up. It's you just got to do everything and all the admin stuff.
But I've got to say, if Thomas Stig is watching, thanks, mate. You were my savior. He was my first AD on set.
Mm-hmm.
And in the credits, you probably saw director's psychologist or something like that. Yeah, that was Thomas Stig, because a couple of times he sort of calm down, mate, calm down. I got this sort of thing. And yeah, he was fantastic on set.
That's a massive thing being an independent creator, is getting that team around you. And
oh yeah,
it's the hardest thing because when you're starting out, there's so many bad faith actors out there. It's ridiculous. They just want to stamp you out of existence before you even begin. It's a very strange phenomenon. I've seen it across filmmaking, writing, podcasting. Like I don't know what it is. Is it some sort of weird jealousy of somebody who just won't start anything and they get a bitterness, and their whole mission is to destroy people, like destroy their confidence. And have you encountered any of that?
People. So, not really. To be honest, since I've started the industry, I've had actually, to be honest, nothing but support. It's been really good throughout my journey. I've had strangers on the internet. There's Dell, Phil Herman, a few others who have said, "Look, you got to do this. We'll help you out through the way." And I've been doing this for 30 years, so I'd rather support the indie films rather than the big Hollywood $150 million blockbusters.
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's money well spent when we see the absolute.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll just sort of rewrite a blockbuster film and turn it into a big flop and spend $150 million on it, knowing that it's going to flop.
Yeah,
I'm sort of referencing the new version of The Crow, but
yeah, my review of that was 45 minutes of me just swearing.
Yeah, I
that
haven't
actively offended me just because it exists, because it was horrible.
Oh yeah, the most of that movie I've seen is a movie review by a YouTube channel. I can't remember the name of them at the moment. Yeah, it was basically they had nothing good to say about it. Sort of, he dies twice. Apparently, he dies while he's already dead.
Oh, it's just stupid. Honestly, the thing is just painful. Like I'm just trying to erase it from my memory now because
I did erase one movie from my memory. That was the revamp of Planet of the Apes.
Are you talking about the one with Mark Wahlberg? Or are you talking about the ones with Andy Serkis? It's now 4 of those movies in.
It was no, it was so long ago. It was
the
a
Mark
Wahlberg
one where he's busy. Yeah. Oh god, that was
the only part of that movie I remember. I actually blocked it from my memory. I forgot it was existed. The only part I remember is him right at the end. He walks out of a big building. That's all I remember of it.
Yeah, that's the I think it's Mark Wahlberg. It's just awful.
Because I'm a huge Planet. I've watched all
of the 2002 Godzilla movie.
Oh no!
With Matthew Broderick. That's an horrible.
Yeah, I think I watched that one.
I don't want to ever remember that again.
Yep. There's The Crow. I won't watch. The only reason why I remembered the Planet of the Apes was my brother put up a new Facebook pic, and it was that building at the end, and that actually jogged my memory. Unfortunately, saying, "Hang on, I know where that's from." So I had to go at him saying, "Get rid of that picture."
I've just recovered. You've just retraumatized me.
What was it, 10 years, 10, 20 years ago?
You're looking 20 years at this point, honestly. Yeah. It was like early 2000s.
Yeah, it was. I'm looking. Oh, another flop.
I'm not looking it up. I'm not putting that images back in my head again.
Yeah. Nightmare on Elm Street. That was another flop. I mean,
here's the annoying thing about that. I reviewed that a couple of years ago. I actually didn't. I refused to watch it until like 2020. I never watched it when it came out. I refused to watch it. I was one of them people.
Yeah.
There's a makings of a good movie in there. But they could have went the direction with it, but they didn't. They wimped out.
Yeah, what they really needed was
I like Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah.
I like him as an actor. He doesn't get used enough.
He wasn't Freddy Krueger. It's as simple as that. There's only one Fred Krueger, and that's Robert Englund. And there's only one, well, with the series, I think it sort of started flopping around the fifth, sixth.
Yeah, 5 is 4 is where it really changed. We did a whole thing on because of the 45th anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street. We did a whole stream on like the whole.
Yeah. Do you know why it started flopping?
Because the MTV crowd.
Well,
MTV got involved.
Wes Craven. Oh, I didn't know that, but Wes Craven wasn't part of it. Yeah, the later ones, Wes Craven wasn't part of it,
and that's where he came back with a new Nightmare. That's when he decided to try and re-involve himself. No, MTV got involved after part 3. MTV got involved, and it all just went down the pan.
Well, I like number 3. Did you know in number 3 when it first came out, it was actually banned in Australia because it was about child. I don't know if I can say this on YouTube. Child's
exploitation.
No, sort of. Basically, what the whole movie was about. Number 3.
That's the whole theme of it. Yeah.
Then it was re-released. So then I went, oh yeah, I've heard it's re-released. I'll race down the video store and get it. Oh no, they've banned it again. Oh, I think they banned it about 2 or 3 times. Then eventually they said, "Nah, just have it." Yeah. And being a big Nightmare on Elm Street fan, big Freddy Krueger fan, I was dying to see that movie because of the controversial elements to it. But eventually saw it, and I think that's the best one, to be honest.
The changes, well, to me, the first one will always be that it was a unique concept. They had the idea of the terror there. The second one was strange. Like it was like they didn't quite know how to carry on or what to do. It's like number 5. Like number 5 was meant to be number 2, but one of the producers was pregnant and she got upset by the the theme and didn't want it, so they had to
of
make
course,
number 2 the
yeah,
way it did.
because he has the baby.
And you're like, okay, but why would a sleep demon want the rebirth as a human with the limitations, where as a sleep demon you have unlimited power and unlimited
Oh
revenge?
yeah.
You know what I mean? The whole concept does not make sense.
I actually won tickets to go see it in the cinema in Brisbane, right up here in Brisbane, so half an hour away from me.
Yeah.
And
the reason he got defeated the first one was because he was tricked into coming into the dream world.
Yeah. But how does he always come back? That's one person you cannot kill is Fred Krueger.
that's part of the fun.
Yeah, exactly.
A demon, you know, it's that whole idea of a spirit, a demon's eternal, and you can only either contain or banish or change into something else.
Yeah. It's
There's Dale on.
I think they lost away. Hello, Dale.
Welcome. Yeah, but we've seen that with the movie industry. When too many cooks, you know, get involved to spoil the broth, when the studios start getting involved and it becomes creation by committee, you lose something.
Speaking of which, I have been asked to direct parts of a film. It's got a whole heap of different parts to the one film, but they all link into everything else.
Is it an anthology with the underlying theme, or is it different characters' perspectives? What was
different characters' perspectives
of the same event?
Somewhat. I like the script. I really did like the script. He said, "Which part would you like?" And I told him the part I wanted. He's going, "Wow, wasn't expecting you want that one. I thought you'd want more of the horror one." But there's millionaires. There's having a meeting and so forth. The old lady who invited them, I've got a picture of her in my head and the way she's acting and so forth. And that's why it's the shortest one shortest one of the lot of them. And I pictured her, how she's going to act. And that's pretty much why I picked that one. And he said, okay, I never thought of it that way. But even one of the roles I could play, I could act in it and be the detective on it. And he's got some. I've just recently hooked up with a props master, and I told him what the owner wants. He said, "Yeah, I can organise something like that." Majority of the time, he's making cars for End of the World and all that sort of stuff. Things like things you'd see in what's that one? Originally Mel Gibson.
Oh, Mad Max.
Mad Max, yeah.
Yep.
He would make those sort of cars and trucks up. So we're talking a ball about this big. And Butters does a whole heap of different things. There's something in it as well. And he said, "Yeah, I'm sure I could work out something like that. I could do that. That wouldn't be a problem."
How difficult is it? You've got a concept that looks good in paper. You then get stuff in your head. Then the crashing reality of, right, we've got to make this happen. And that's where, first thing, money's horrible in a lot of senses.
Oh yeah,
I think a lot of us as creatives would rather there was no money and just able to do. You know, it's more about, I want this thing to become reality, and the money thing just now I have to deal with this. Blah, blah, you know, then more and more people get involved, and
the more people get involved, then there's more chaos and more people want money. And it's Undying Love. It was a bit of a sorry, Del, bit of a kerfuffle because it was 2 weeks before shoot. I was still trying to find a lead actor, one of the female lead actor. 1 week before shoot, I had to find location because the original location backed out. So I had 1 week.
You were going to do it in the house, weren't you? If I remember,
in that abandoned house.
And then they were they'd done all the health and safety stuff, and then because they were selling it, they didn't want that. Yeah, that's just that's somebody just getting the rug and going yoink. You know what I mean? And
so you can imagine being scout locations. You go no, and it was big panic, phone calls left, right, and center. Then I put it up on Facebook. The guy who, Simon from Scouts Shayla Park, he said, mate, if you're interested, I got in contact with him. He said, yeah. We had to pay a fee, of course, but done. It was done and dusted. And the reason why we had just to answer one of your questions, the reason why we had those, the
tarp,
the sheets.
Yeah.
It's just plastic. We're trying to make it look like it was abandoned. Plus, they're all over the walls. There were photos and so forth we had to cover. Mm-hmm. So I needed this. Don't forget, 1 week to find this location. I needed a hallway and a big room. And they didn't have a hallway. It's just simply one big room with a whole heap of little ones on the sides. And I wanted to make it look like the tarps were down because there's no walls, basically. That's the feel I was trying to get, basically. I don't know if that came out, but
the room with the coffin, yep. When you come out, it was just a bit, in your mind is like you're trying to picture. And then when I'm thinking of an underground crypt and they're going with that and candles, I'm thinking like Gothic, and I'm thinking of ensconces and the walls. And then you see that and you're like, hold on, the brain doesn't translate. Like, no, I was expecting this. And
if we had
also, I don't think what helped is obviously I've read Dale's story and I've listened to the narrated fiction. So already that, and you're very descriptive as well. I mean, you use the sound effects and all, and very descriptive. So that's another element of my expectations of I kind of already know what the thing's going to look like.
Yeah,
basically with good writing and good production like that. Your imagination, you can just close your eyes and like walk down the corridor and like almost see the moss, where it's kind of dripped down a bit or something. You know what I mean? It's
the descriptions were great from Dell,
and that's it. And that's what I'm saying about how frustrating is it when you've got all that and then it comes to actually I want to put this on screen and things just hit you left, right, and center.
So many things need to be changed. As you saw, you've seen, you read, you heard the original script, you saw the movie. So many things had to be changed. I couldn't have Joey as young on camera because legalities and so forth. So I had to get Aaliyah in to play Jenny, and her mum and dad were on set, of course. And yeah, I think when it comes to visual, it would have been more personal having a mother and daughter rather than a mother and a son, because they sort of link a lot better. That's the way I felt anyway. And when I put the casting out, Aaliyah's mum came out back and said, "This is her, blah blah blah." I sent about five or six photo of the actors interested. I had my favorite in my mind. I sent Del all these other ones, and she just turned around and said, "Her," and pointed straight to Aaliyah, and I had my eye on Aaliyah as well. And I casted her. At that point, the only line she had in the whole movie was, "I love you, mummy," at the end. That was the only line that she had. Come a day or two before shooting, I had somebody, they didn't come through with their promise of painting all those, because I had styrofoam. We're going to paint them, make it like a wood. So she's underneath to make it,
because that's the whole thing. The building collapsed. That's where that's all came from.
Exactly. 2 days before shoot, he hasn't come through with painting them. So within minutes, I had to think of a new opening, a complete new opening. I barely even had time to write it down. It was based. Then Thomas, Emma, who played Lilith, and myself. Oh, and Zach Hunter, who played Zach. We had a meeting, and we're sort of racking our brains. And Thomas comes up, "Why don't you have them running from something? it says it's the end of the world. Have them running from something through the woods, and bang, instantly I've got these pictures of what you saw running past the camera a couple of times, having the characters' names and all that sort of stuff come up in the picture. And yeah, so we basically had minutes, if not hours, just to come up with a new beginning. And
that's got to be devastating, you know.
Oh,
you have a plan,
yeah.
and it's. Do you ever get to a point? Is there a sort of line? It's like, this is not worth doing, and you have to pull the plug, or is it a point that so much is invested that you just have to go ahead? Like, what's that sort of decision making process like, or getting to that stage?
Something like that, I would not pull the plug. Honestly, I've never pulled the plug. I've gotten frustrated with people. I've had, as you know, I've had people pull the rug out from me, locations, actors pull out in the last minute. But I always somehow, I don't know how, find a way. Out of the blue, we came up with that new beginning. I don't know. I think I just have the luck, honestly. When it comes to this industry, I think I have luck. When I'm editing, as an example, when I'm editing, I need sort of music going across here. Then all of a sudden, something pops up here, and you need a boom sort of noise.
Yep.
No matter what I do, I won't be looking at that boom sort of thing. I'll pick the music for the beginning of it, and that boom will be in that music. That's the sort of luck I have with editing and directing and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where it comes from. I've never
actually talking of which, because that's the bane of my life, especially when like we do narrative fiction on this channel as well. Editing is horrible.
I love it.
Is there? Oh, okay. Well, how do you make it less painful? Because when I'm doing it, big white screen, because of the software I use. It's a big white screen with the lips. I'm obviously taking out breaths, and you know when you're close to the mic, and it picks up every little every little mouth noise, and that bugs the hell out of me. Or when you have to take a breath, so you're taking that, you're like playing about 3 seconds of audio, you're going back, you're playing 3, and you're like, say something's 20 minutes long, you're spending 3 hours like going over and looking at the white screen, and it's horrible. And then pacing as well, you're trying to get your pacing right.
Yeah,
because sometimes you have to stop and read a line on its own, and then you have to fit it in, because not everything translates. You know, when you're reading it, they're actually reading it out loud.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's part of the process. But I just find the editing is the worst part. It just
sound can be
destroys me at times.
Yeah, sound can be a bastard. That's for sure. I don't like sound, but with the outdoor scenes, as in the forest scene in Undying Love, we used a boom mic, but everything inside was the mic on top of the camera. So there was no sync. Well, a little bit of syncing, not much. I just had to move a millisecond, move the sound millisecond. Sorry. But that's the joys of the clapper. That's what I don't know if a lot of people know, but the purpose of the clapper, once it goes clap, you've got with the sound down the bottom, you've got the peak of the clap. And when you just line that up when the actual clapper connects, I don't know if you can see that. I can't see it on mine. When it actually connects, you just line them together. And that's basically the rest of it is lined up. And as soon as you get that lined up, that's the only thing you need to line up. And when you got that lined up, everything else falls.
So you don't do anything like ADR or go to that extreme?
No, it's just, it's just a simple clapper. And I think it comes down to the 0.0001 of a second. And I'm actually editing a music video at the moment, and she sort of mentioned that the timing was out. I'm waiting for the new version of the song to come back. She said the timing's out a little bit. She actually picked it out. I changed it, and I noticed it was a 0.001 of a second out, and she picked it. And that's how much of difference sound can make. If you're literally hundredths of a second out, people will see that.
Yep.
And that's where sound can be an absolute nightmare. You think you got it right, but you don't. If there's any editors out there who use these, for editing. Don't. There's a delay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I tell people like the good old plug things in. You just don't need
Get
that.
a decent set.
Yep.
Where is it? Get a decent set. JBL.
Don't have to be fancy,
Great.
but you need physical connection.
Oh,
Funny enough,
yeah.
I was having a chat. We've got a couple of friends there starting a podcast dealing with paranormal, basically true paranormal stories and investigations and UFOs. Funny enough, I mentioned your name as one of their guests to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Once I get up and started, but I was having this whole thing and I was explaining, do not do this over Wi-Fi. Do not use Bluetooth sets. You're just asking for trouble.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just don't do it. It's not. It's okay. They're designed for just putting something on, listening. But when you actually have to work, you need the physical connections. You need to invest in the gear.
100%. And if you can get 2 or 3 screens, I've got 2 here.
Yeah, I'm something.
I've got to get the third one. Yeah, I've got to get the third one put up the top, and that's strictly for picture. Because I get the timeline, bring it over to the second one, then I can open the picture up on the main screen, and I can just sort of fiddle around with the timeline over there. And it makes so much of a difference having more than one screen. Because if you're on one screen, editors will know you've got to keep opening that picture up, so make sure you've got everything right. Then you've got to close it down a little bit, get the timeline up a bit. A lot of mucking around. With it, as I said, with 2 screens, you just open it right up. And
also it locks into the position. A lot of people are trying, the new screens, the curved ones, they're trying to like operate it like 2 screens. And it's like, no, that's
doesn't work like that.
might be okay for a spreadsheet. And if you're doing that, but for editing, no. You need the multiple screens because it locks into the position of that screen and doesn't move. And that is worth its weight in gold, because the minute you have to start minimizing, maximizing, and arsed about, you're adding so much hours of work. And
just doing all that, minimizing, making bigger, making smaller, all that. That's eventually you do. Let's just say you work for 10 hours or so. That probably about an hour's worth. Just of moving timelines around. And if you've got more than one screen, you don't have to.
How important is it though to get into the flow, like as a creator? Because I think I've noticed as well, more so in the writing world, everyone's getting bogged down in the technicalities. This must be structured like this, but blah blah blah, because I'm telling you to do my course so that I will validate you. And everyone at the moment, I see the conversations is just bogged down on the technicalities. I see a bit of it with podcasting. They've tried that, but it's kind of fallen by the wayside. Most people who just do it. We had a period of time of getting very formulaic, and it's just destroying the individual creativity. How do you balance that? Yes, we need structure. We can't just be all over the place, but there's always this push, and it's usually people trying to sell courses or certifications, try to box people in, and then we lose the innovation. How do you cope with that, and how do you know when to take advice or just to disregard it, or
always take advice?
Get that balance.
100%. Always take advice, as long as they're not people who are new in the industry. Speaking of advice, I'll just get this out. My old teacher, he suggested for me to have a look at a book. It shows everything you need about the layout of a script. That's what it's called there. Hollywood Standard, version 3. He said, don't read it cover to cover. Use it as like a Bible. Go through it. If you get stuck, look for it in there. It's got it in there. But in that aspect, unless you're going Hollywood, unless you're trying to give it to one of the big Hollywood directors or producers, don't be too particular with it. Obviously, get your middle part of the script page for dialogue, have your descriptions, have action words, sounds in capital letters. I use script writer, I think, to do it. It is fantastic you get you don't necessarily have to pay for it because you get 3 scripts for free. You can do 3 scripts, but once you finish one script, export it, just delete the whole thing and do it again. And let's just say you've got a character. You type in the character's name. That program will remember that character's name. If 2 people are coming up and having a conversation, you write that character's name, write character 2 down after the one's dialogue. And when you press enter, it comes up on a new line. It comes up dialogue, character, give you different options.
Mm-hmm.
You press C for character, and then it'll come up the names, which ones you want. But if people are having conversations, it just comes up with the next person. You don't even have to do anything. It was absolutely fantastic. So I suggest basically the book, don't be too particular about it. Unless you've got a feature that Hollywood might be interested. But in saying that, unless you're known, Hollywood won't touch you.
No,
it's as simple as that.
That's
Hollywood has turned shit.
Nepotism. Yeah, it's been like that for at least 20 years. Nepotism and just the meritocracy is just gone. Meritocracy's gone. There was a documentary, or was it a reality? One of the early, like talking late 90s, and it was called Hollywood Brats or something.
Okay, never heard of that one.
I only watched an episode, and that was enough, but it let me know. It's basically the kids of the stars. So Danny DeVito's daughter was in it, and it was that, it was that sort of thing, right? What you have are a bunch of useless, pointless people who have had everything handed to them.
Kardashians?
And I could just say, I've yet to watch it. I have no interest in that at all. But
yeah,
you've got all these people there that are the sons and daughters of the establishment. It's not just the actors, but I mean, it's the producers and everybody else. And those people are the ones that have been slotted into the jobs.
Oh, yeah.
And we've seen over 20 years that the whole industry is just falling apart. And it's my thing is, if I feel like somebody's trying to entertain me and actually has a genuine desire to make something that I want to enjoy, I can be very forgiving.
Oh, yeah.
When I feel like it's just something thrown out because they just want to, or more importantly, if I feel like whoever's created something actively resents me for existing, I pick up, and then I will nitpick on everything.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I feel from Hollywood right now. It's people just doing it because they're busy. They've been sorted in the positions. They're not capable of anything else. There's no interest in the actual entertainment business. The people that built it are no longer, they're either gone or on the road out.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Like this arsehole here.
Who's that?
Ridley Scott.
Oh,
utterly despise that man. No,
but yet he's there.
Yeah, he's got all those...
Why have you got him there?
He's the voodoo doll.
Just put a couple of needles in him. Sorry, I cannot see that properly. Oh, I love it. That's brilliant. Well, I've got my own little doll that. Hang on, I'll close this down. How do I close this down?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
But there's no one. Just actively, he's doing it for his own hubris. Actively hates the fan base that created him, and just this bitterness and resentment that's come out of whatever.
Yeah. My long-term goal is to have my name next to James Wan, the director. Although he did Aquaman, but Conjuring 1 and 2, not number 3. He had nothing to do with number 3. Well, he did. He was producer, but he did not direct number 3. And yeah, my goal is long-term goal was get my name next to his as co-director or anything, runner. I don't care if I was a runner on set. I'd do that because his vision is quite unique. I'll speak about the Conjuring. There's a shot when they're moving into the house. The camera's all the way up the top. Then it sort of goes down, then sort of goes in. The timing of the actors have to be absolutely perfect for this. Then you'll see the 2 adults carrying a lounge. They lift the lounge up in front of the door. Kids run underneath. Camera goes underneath, and then you see he walks around. It's all done in one shot. And I love one shot. I saw how he did it. I'm thinking that's got to be a really good drone driver, because that was way too high. Originally started out way too high. But what he did, he got the cameraman on a cherry picker. I don't know. You got cherry pickers?
Yeah, cherry picker. Yeah, for
yeah,
changing the light bulbs and stuff and getting up high. Yep.
Yeah, he just sort of goes down and just steps off and just walks through. And the way it was done was absolutely fantastic. And we'll go into halfway through the movie. The lighting, I'm shooting horrors and so forth. It's 9 times out of 10 is at nighttime and dark. I'm always trying to get that right lighting. I'm never 100% happy with my lighting. Even though I had the 2 guys who did the lighting on Undying Love, they were actually working on a movie called, remake of Anaconda. So they're professionals. They know what they're talking about. But I still could not get what I wanted 100% in the dark. But what James had done was absolutely fantastic. I don't know if it was lighting on set or if it's in the studio. But where, what's her name? The Lorraine. I can't remember the actor's name. The one who played
Vera Farmiga.
Yeah, that's her.
Yep.
When she was in the attic, in the basement, sorry, she's looking around, and it was just pretty much pitch black on certain parts. And I've always wondered how to do that. And recently, with my mucking around and so forth with editing, I finally worked out how to do it. It's all done in editing. And as long as
it's not in the full darkness.
No, exactly. It just, his visions are absolutely fantastic. And yeah, basically, I just want to work with James Wan one day. It'll be long-term goal, short-term goal. So
I don't know who's up to. You know, Atomic Monsters sort of joined with Blumhouse.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and the only thing they've really produced so far are the Megan movies, and they are sanitized, just more like action movies than horror.
Yeah. He's got.
I just hope he's not going. I just hope he's not going the same direction as Taika Waititi, and he's going to lose his instincts and just become the fast food
Del
chain.
told me about him. Yeah, Del told me about him. How he's changed.
And I think Hollywood. I think when you get involved with the Hollywood machine, it's like being a restaurateur and going to work for a fast food chain. Like, it doesn't matter how good or how talented, you're sticking the burger and fries in the same bloody box that's just been repainted.
Exactly.
Because that's what they want.
Yeah, you're the same as everything else. Yeah, exactly. And somebody turned around and said, I'll see you in Hollywood one day. I said, no, you won't. You'll never see me in Hollywood. If I let's just say I get huge or whatever, if I ever get in Hollywood, I'll go over there. I'll make my movie and I'll come home. I wouldn't even stay there the night. I'll just.
Anthony Hopkins talked about that years ago. That's what he did. That's how he stayed sane. Is he said you use that thing as it's his own thing. You go there and visit, but you do not get involved in it. You have to step away.
Mel Gibson.
Actors like Nicolas Cage and Keanu Reeves do quite well. That they do the Hollywood stuff, but then they step out and they do the indie projects. I would like to see James. I know he's got this, like I said, because of the merger with Blumhouse. I don't know how much that's going to suck his energy out, but I'd like him to go back and do his own productions. But look what the hell they're doing to Robert Eggers. There's a visionary of our time. They're getting them stuck doing remakes. They've signed them up.
Yeah.
So, yes, he did Nosferatu. I could get that, the 100th anniversary, or what was it, 120th anniversary. Yeah, that was a special thing. But now they're going to get him doing The Mummy, I think another version of The Wolfman. You know, they're actually lining him up to do all these remakes and rehashes. So they've got him, a visionary, independent, original storyteller. He's going to get bogged down because it's the only way he's going to get funding, and they're going to destroy him. That's what Hollywood does. Hollywood needs to die as an entity, in my opinion, because it's
and they refuse to look at it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. They've run out of ideas. They refuse to look outside the box. I've always said, instead of trying to remake good movies, find a movie that really flopped, but it
Anaconda.
had a good
Yeah,
a good
that's
storyline. Yeah, I've
that
seen that
was
once.
shockingly bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Um, yeah, there's heaps of movies out there that absolutely flopped, but they had a good storyline. It was the directing was shit, or the actors were shit, but the storyline, the script was fantastic. Get the rights to that, and remake that. Get a better actor in there, get a better director, better producer, better writer to fix up the script a little bit. That's what I've always said. Oh, why don't they do that? That would
Because they're
make
risk
more
averse, they
sense.
just want rinse and repeat. It's the people
Yeah,
behind how movies happen in the industry is amazing because the people that run the money are the least creative people,
yeah.
and they're the ones that control the strings. And horror gets it the worst.
Oh
Look at
yeah,
the
yeah.
Hellraiser
Oh yeah.
franchise, right? And you're talking almost borderline micro budget. You know, you're talking like £5,000 or something, maybe. No, it's just stupidly low budgets or 20 grand.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the micromanaging that comes with that, but they'll also splurge 300 million on a Cape and Cowl thing that's absolutely crap,
Yeah.
and it's just generic and bland. They'll happily splurge money on that and lose.
Oh
But
yeah,
when it
yeah.
comes to, we're giving 10 grand to a horror movie, we're going to stand over them and micromanage every aspect.
Yeah.
And
And that's what I did with Undying Love. Although it was only a 8-9 minute movie, I'm down the shops going, oh yeah, I could use that for set. No, no. I did. If I bought everything I thought was great for the set, it would have probably cost $1,500. We only had $1,000 budget, and well, actually under that by the time New Zealand dollars got transferred into Australian dollars. Then the banks took fees out and so forth, and it was just atrocious what they were doing. If I bought everything that would have been great for the set, yeah, it would have cost a lot more than $1,000. Oh, that was something else that had to be really quickly changed. The coffin.
so you
Jenny
couldn't
was
get
supposed
that,
to be in
could
the
you?
coffin. Yeah, I did get a hold of a coffin, but I would have had to pick up the go from my place, pick up the coffin 45 minutes away, come back, bring it here. Then that was on the Friday, but we were recording on the Saturday. So on the Saturday, put it back in the trailer, take it over to 20 minutes away to set, then lock it up after recording on day one, lock it up, and day two, bring it back here, wait for Monday, drive it all the way back over to 45 minutes away and over a $8 toll bridge as well, each way. Then come home. And that was just too much buggerizing around. Sorry about the dogs. That was just too much buggerizing around. And I think it was 2 or 3 days before shoot. That's when I came up with that silk on the ground. I was in a cheap store and I'm looking around going, what can I have? I've got no idea. I was completely out of ideas. Then I saw the flowers and what the brain was just ticking over for about a good 5 minutes and going, silk. I'm looking at these flowers saying silk. They weren't silk flowers. And I thought, okay, I'll cut these flowers off because they were in a bunch and I'll just lay them around. Then I went over to wherever it is, just the aisle where all the fabrics are and so forth. I looked in there going, I had two in my hand and I thought, no, pink. Pink would be more appropriate for the little girl because it was pink or silver. I thought, no, pink would show up more on the camera and so forth. And yeah, 2 days previous to shooting from day one, that's when I actually came up with that idea. And yeah, would have preferred to have the coffin. Maybe if we do a number 2 or a continuation, I might bring the coffins in. But I even had a friend.
So you could have her that obviously she just turned as a vampire, so she was led in thing, but obviously as she gets established, then she gets her own coffin because that's like a rite of passage.
Exactly.
So work it in, yeah.
Dell, did you hear that? That's a good idea. But
see, that's the way, man. Like I said, I don't visual effects acting, so I don't mind. It's the story. The story has to make sense to me. That's always been my focus, especially as a reviewer. Not, it's
of course, yeah.
It's your starting point. And
yeah.
I see so many people as well, and they just, like I said, they don't care. They just throw things out, and yeah, I want the shiny lights, and they forget about the actual storytelling. And I don't know if you think the same, but it's an art that's getting lost today.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's the problem with Hollywood. They're more focused on the special effects rather than the storyline.
But I mean, everyone's looking at their little rectangle thing.
Yeah.
And they're not using their imaginations. They're waiting for fades and, short videos, and you're seeing people's attention span. Like, this is already 44 minutes and, 50 seconds too long for most people. People want everything into a 30-second video.
Yeah.
They don't do any sort of conversation anymore.
Yeah, that's TikTok.
And
they've got no attention span.
No attention span, but it's destroying people's imaginations. And we need, as a human race, that's how we aspire to be better. We need our imagination sparked. And you can see why everything's the way it is, because people are being dulled down and they don't try anymore. And my concern is that the art of storytelling, which makes us human and makes us better than what we are and makes society, because it's imagination. If people don't have an imagination, also you can't problem solve, even in a practical sense. If you don't have an active imagination, you can't problem solve.
Yeah, exactly.
And I see young people that even outside in the real world, I'm seeing them and they have no cognitive ability.
No. 100% agree with you.
I don't know how to fix it, or or how to aspire people or get them to step back from the brink.
Well,
it's not going a good direction.
AI is not helping.
No, it's not. That's people are just switching off completely. They're not
now. I don't know if you've seen these film festivals. There's a film festival out there that allows AI. So AI script writing, AI movie making. I'm thinking, where's the passion? Where's the imagination in any of that? You come up with 5 or 6 words and the computer does the rest of it. AI does the rest of it. There's no heart in that. It's just typed a few words and we'll put it in there.
Yeah, just an algorithm. And the thing is, I used AI recently for copywriting, as in taglines stuff, because I hate marketing. I actively despise it. It's the worst thing. I hate marketing language. I've tried to read a marketing book and I just hate I'm anti, like, an advert will always put me off and make me want to buy the product. I hate adverts. Back in the day in the UK, they used to use comedy and that worked for me. But now they don't do it anymore. They've went flipping dumb yankified, so they have, and went all that direction. It's horrible.
Oh, that was the same with Australia too. We had fantastic ads. Oh, some of them were hilarious. You're in tears. Some of them you're in tears. Some of them you're bawling your eyes out from laughing so much. But now it's because everybody's so sensitive, they can't say that or they can't do that on camera and so forth.
Yeah, but it's
gone down.
The people that are sensitive, they're always going to be. They just want to be offended. It's their
exactly.
Parents. That's all they want to do. That's what made me. That's if you remember, I made the comment when you put the disclaimer at the end.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, I hope he's fucking joking. See if he's.
He was joking.
I am going to lose my shit.
It was sort of continuation with if you read all of the rolling credits, you'll have sausage sizzle specialist. That was,
like I said, when I went on, I sort of got it, but I'm just like, if you have to tell people that you have to spend disbelief for a freaking movie, and that's, if you're that weak, you don't belong in human society. You need to be in a padded cell, because if you're that, honestly, you're the problem, not us. And
100%.
You're dangerous. If you really have that cognitive disability, you can't tell fantasy from reality. You're psychotic. You're the one that's the dangerous individual, not the person telling the joke.
Yeah, you're the one who needs help, not
doing the material. Yeah,
100%.
But too many of those people somehow got control of the narrative and got the lead, and stupid people followed them. And
the reason why is because the minority has a bigger voice. As a straight white male, I don't have a voice because I don't scream it at the top of a building. You get a minority, they'll jump to the middle of the top of the building, cause a big protest, have choppers flying over, then they're screaming what they want and all that. That's why people are there. They're heard.
Oil and squeaky wheels, it's that thing, you always oil the squeaky wheel.
And the funny thing is, the people who are offended by certain comments, like Indigenous people, I'm offended by that Indigenous joke. You're not Indigenous. It's
offended on other people's behalf.
Yeah. Jimmy Carr. I don't know if you know Jimmy Carr.
Oh, yeah, he's a UK comedian.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, Matt Rife. Matt Rife is a better example. He will make fun jokes of people in wheelchairs. And one lady, he said he told a story. He was making fun of a lady in a wheelchair or whatever. But at the end of the thing, signing autographs and so forth, that person went up to him and said, "Thank you for including me." And other people who are able, they're getting offended by people in the wheelchairs. People in the wheelchairs are killing themselves laughing because they're getting included.
There's another somebody, Paul Smith, I think his name is. He's a Liverpudlian. And he did the same. He absolutely ripped the bag out of somebody with cancer. And the person go up to him afterwards, goes, "Thanks, mate, for once I felt human."
Yeah, exactly.
But the people that do that, I've spoken about this in this channel all the time, they are bitter and twisted. The nice people, right? Anybody with virtue signals is an arsehole. Yeah, nasty, bigoted person. They're the problem, right? Because if you have to project being nice, you're not. It's the same as if somebody has to project being honest. If somebody has to tell you how honest they are, you're dealing with a liar. Yeah, somebody has to tell you how good they are. You're dealing with a nasty person, and that's These people aren't doing anything. They're just using their bitterness at the world, and 9 times out of 10 it's because they can't make human connections. Yeah, and it frustrates them.
Yeah. They've got to get out there somehow.
And the thing is, I always joke, if I've got better social skills than people, you need to be worried. If I'm having to tell somebody because I'm socially uninterested, for the most part of general people, I've no interest. I don't care. I'm a horror nerd. I'm a podcaster. I like to write, scribble. I like to paint little things. I do all sorts of weird things. I'm a weirdo. I'm not going to talk to you about sports matches or pop stars or soap operas or blah, blah, blah. I have no interest.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to you about politics or anything. I don't care because I just they're all the same arseholes and I don't care what flag or badge or whatever, you know what I mean?
Flying arseholes.
It bores me. And the stuff that I do and I'm interested in is niche. So it's not going to interest the general populace. So never the twain shall meet.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that. Yep. But if I've got better social skills than one of the good people, fucking you've got a serious issue because
they're the ones who sit in their room getting on the computer going, what can I complain about today? Under
50 different accounts.
Yeah.
I'm too busy. I've got too much stuff to do. Like I'm all you know what I mean? Time's precious.
Yeah, exactly. I got banned from Facebook for 3 days for saying, I don't know, I won't say it, but men can't have, I'll put a gap in there, babies. I got banned on Facebook because somebody said...
Even though Mark Zuckerberg came out and went, oh yeah, we're stopping all that crap.
Yeah. What a load of rubbish. And last time I checked, men can't.
You just don't get into the conversation.
We don't have the womb for it.
Yeah, sorry. You just don't. Honestly, with that's the whole thing. That it's just they want to have. They just want to fight. People like that just want to fight. So you just don't waste your time getting into the conversation. I don't care who anybody is. I'll deal with a person as an individual.
Yeah, there was actually
that doesn't preclude you from being my friend or get me working with you, etc., etc. However, it doesn't protect you either. If you act like an arsehole, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, bye. Yeah. That's
I've no time.
If I have a problem with somebody on set, which I've never have, and they become an arsehole or whatever, I just say, okay, time for you to leave. You're not getting paid, and go away.
Like, that's why I couldn't get into filmmaking, because spending 24 hours with people, unless I really have a tight group, like it's even with the podcast, and like I should be reaching out to loads of people and stuff, but I don't want to. I'm very careful about who I speak to, because I can't be annoyed by idiots. I have no patience.
Oh yeah.
And there's been a couple of people who come on here and tried to bring stuff on that I don't want to talk about. I'm trying to get a positive vibe. I'm trying to talk about the independent creative sphere. I'm trying to promote it. I'm trying to push back as well against the stereotypes against horror and horror creators and horror fans, because it's out there. That's what I want to talk about. I don't want to bring a positive message. And there's people they just want to bring that shit. That's all I've got to talk about, because of no personality. I end up having to go, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And sure enough,
that makes sense.
I'll never hear from them again. You know what I mean? They disappear. I'll never hear from them again.
You know, because you won't let them complain about things that have absolutely nothing to do with film, especially horrors.
Yeah. Complain about, but not only that, I don't do whining. I don't want to hear complaints. I want to hear solutions.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That's it's the same as when the whole point of these conversations, well, is if somebody's out there and they're thinking about getting into the creative space, maybe there's something holding them back. I want people to know it's possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. I will never slag anybody off for being creative, even somebody doing TikTok dances.
Yeah,
I would rather somebody practice their moves and get it right and do their video, and that's what they spend their time doing, than hanging around street corners or smashing windows. You know what I mean? I have no problem. It doesn't mean I have to be into it or care.
Yeah.
But once again, I will never, ever slag somebody off for being creative, because we need to be. We need to express ourselves. We need that mechanism. And I just feel like at the moment it's being stamped out. People's spirits, are actively being stamped out by the beige mob, because they are dead inside, and misery loves company. So they cannot stand somebody with any sort of spark about them.
Yeah, exactly. And I had a bit of a laugh at my daughter years ago when she was doing a TikTok dance, doing whatever. But that's as objective of being. I don't watch them. I see it on Facebook, or somebody starts dancing, I just keep scrolling. I don't need to comment and you look like an idiot or whatever.
Yeah.
It's pretty much good for you. Get into it. You enjoy doing it, do it.
I'll always use an analogy. I'm not going to read romance novels. No interest. However, what I'm not going to do is create 5 troll accounts and look for every romance novel fans group and go on there, and blah, blah, blah. Like, what the hell is that? But people will do that with the horror genre.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why? Go away.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you don't like it.
Get a job. Pretty much get a job, get a life, get a friend. Yeah. It's I don't know why people actually have to do it. I think it's just to make them feel more superior. They've got power over these people, and it just doesn't make any sense. You got power over a stranger. Whoop-de-doo. Who cares? Yeah. You made a stranger cry. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah,
congratulations. Yeah. But yeah.
No, it's
off subject a little bit there.
No, but it's something that bugs me. And once again, it's all part of the thing. Because of this culture, we're actively seeing people's creativity being destroyed. Like it's not even we've lived through life. We've been pre-internet, pre-social media, so we have seen the changes. We're okay, but we're not going to be here forever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the good thing is, growing up in the 70s, 80s, there were no video cameras, so there's no proof of the idiocy we got up to.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah, I agree. And but
then again, it's your choice to switch the camera on.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because you got this Dolby rectangle thing doesn't mean you have to switch it on all the time.
Oh yeah, I actually had somebody on an old friend of mine. I have recently deleted her. Everything that her son did, she put it on Facebook. It got that annoying. somebody, I think he sneezed and a little bit went on his hand. So she put it on Facebook. He actually took her to court. Oh, no. He warned her, you do that again, I will disown you. Legally, I will disown you. She did again that day, took her to court and said, yep, he now has no mother. Because, yeah, he just
That's a form of abuse.
Sick of it. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And that's pretty much what the judge said. That's abuse. There's no privacy in his life. And he was too young to actually.
You know those pageant things?
Oh.
Yeah, that's abuse.
Those poor kids.
Yeah, because their mothers are trying to like live vicariously through their children. Like that's crap.
Yeah. And
that's why I'm a horror fan. And actually, on the next question, what is it about the horror genre that what is it about intrigued you? What drew you into the horror genre? And why do you still like it today?
Sam, I'm not sure on the pronunciation. Sam Raimi?
Oh, Sam Raimi, the Evil Dead. Yep.
Evil Dead. I'm guessing around 8-9 years old when I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell in love with it. The adrenaline that came out of me just watching it, sort of, oh no, get out of there. Then that voice, the girl locked in the basement.
Oh, sure.
They're gonna get you. Yes. I had a nightmare that night, but it released endorphins and whatever you want to call it in me. And basically from that day on, I was absolutely hooked on horror. And people like to go jump from perfectly good airplanes for adrenaline. People go into tight spaces in caves for adrenaline. I like to be safe for my adrenaline, and that's horror movies. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I see it. For any adrenaline rush, I prefer to be safe rather than jumping out of a perfectly good plane.
I'm introducing one of my co-hosts, Chris, to the Ash vs. Evil Dead series. We've covered the first 2 episodes, and he's just blown away. It gets better, it gets more ridiculous.
Yeah, well, what really annoyed me, I was so pissed off at Evil Dead 2 and 3. They turned one of the best horrors they ever made at that time into a comedy horror, then into a comedy. That's what pissed me off. I really wanted to see horror. And yeah, I did watch 2 and 3, but I've only ever watched them once in my life. And it would have been great comedy.
I'm more forgiving of 3 than 2. Because 2 is essentially the same story told all over again.
Yeah, it's sort of like Idle Hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 2 was sort of like Idle Hands.
Yep.
I don't know. Have you seen that one?
God, I don't know. While
it was a long one. He pretty much, his hand got possessed, so he cut it off and it starts trying to kill him.
It's 1970. That was the 70s one, wasn't it?
No. I think it was 80s. I can't remember who directed or who the actor is, but I've only seen it once, but I thought it was actually quite funny.
It was part of the
it was comedy.
It was almost based on the Tingler using Frankenstein, but the idea that, still this idea of transplants and so forth, and, God, it was years ago.
It was,
I have not seen that, and that's like Cue the Winged Serpent type era, that's when I watched those sort of movies. That's been years since.
Yeah, well, that's more of a comedy horror rather than a horror.
Yeah, but it's around about that time period, in the,
Yeah, exactly. And, that's what annoyed me with Evil Dead. My favorite ever horror movie that time, the one that got me right into horrors, and then they turned it into comedy.
Well, that's they did it with Nightmare on Elm Street as well, and they've done it with Friday the 13th. That tends to be the direction. The reason being, I think, you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, is once you've got the initial shock of the concept, you can't frighten people anymore unless they're trying to tell a true story. So it seems to be that the direction they try to go is the comedy route because they know they've lost the shock factor. So when you've got a character, it tends to be that direction.
Yeah. It's sort of, I see where you're going. Instead of having it, like I said earlier, with what Dell and I are doing, just sort of having it like this. They sort of put it there, then bring it up here, then move it around a bit. Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
Like, look at the Halloween
Evil Dead-
series. That's one series that's taking itself seriously the whole way
Believe
through.
it
It's
or
a
not.
mess.
You're going to shoot me. I've only seen 1 and 2.
You're not missing out.
I was a Freddy fan. I wasn't
Yep.
interested in Halloween or Friday the 13th. I was a Freddy fan. I've seen that millions of times.
Oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah. I watched. Oh no, it was Halloween. I've seen Halloween #1.
Yeah, that's the
And
best
I
one.
always mistake. Yeah, I always mistaken Jason for Leatherface. I can never tell the difference.
Sure, there's another
But
one that got ridiculous. Like, what was it? 9 sequels to Texas Chainsaw
Yeah.
Massacre.
really, I saw
Yeah, there's
remake.
ridiculous amounts of them.
I saw the remake. That was pretty good. I didn't mind one of the. I can't remember which remake, but I mean, it's
Yeah,
been
like I said, there's
remade
9 and
multiple times.
9 movies at this point. And it's just, but
Yeah.
once again, how far can you go? You know, what I mean, it just becomes rinse and repeat.
Yeah. That's why
Jeepers
I was sort of
Creepers. There's another
disappointed.
one. It's rinse and repeat. Like, there's 4 movies now. It's just
Is
the
that
same
4?
thing.
I've only
Yeah.
seen 3.
Reborn is the 4th. Yeah, it's 4 movies.
I haven't seen Reborn.
I couldn't. I managed 7 minutes.
No, yeah, #1 was fantastic.
But
I loved it.
That's an original concept, and then
Yeah.
it becomes very obvious. You can't. There's nowhere else to go.
Yeah, it's
So,
as you said,
Back
it's
to the
pointless
original, it's
even
like
making
with
two.
Evil Dead. I think they understood that for the longevity, rather than going that route. Then they're like, okay, well, we'll go the comedy route because it just seems to be a natural progression.
Yeah, I see your point. That's actually made me think. It definitely made me think. Now that I'm in the industry, I can look further than just being a viewer.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're definitely making me think on that one. That's for
I
sure.
just have, like I said, I've spent too much time watching movies. I'm at the point where if you tried it out, unless I've like watched it prior to this and it's fresh in my mind, I will merge plots because I've watched stupid amounts of movies. I've reviewed stupid amounts of movies,
Yeah,
and it all jumbles in there, and the plot will go into something else, and I'll see a pattern, and then the pattern recognition will blend with something else because I've seen it from another 5 movies,
Yeah.
have done similar things, and it's
Oh, can I give you a bit of a tip?
Hmm?
Do not review The Girl Upstairs.
Mhm.
CM Punk, the old wrestler.
Right.
The whole movie, it's probably an hour and a half or whatever. The last 5 minutes is the horror part in it.
Mhm.
The rest of it, there's no horror. And you actually see the girl upstairs in the last 5 minutes, and that's it. The acting was absolutely atrocious. It was worse than a B-grade movie, to be honest, in my opinion.
Well, the fact you just said wrestler, that's me. Brain's just switched off.
Well, hey, John Cena and what's his name?
Not Dom Johnson. I hate him.
No.
I
John Cena.
actively despise him. He needs to fall off a cliff.
Dom Johnson. Oh,
Big Dom Johnson. Dwayne Dumb as Rocks Johnson.
Oh, Dwayne the Rock.
I hate him. I absolutely despise him.
You don't like him?
No.
No, actually.
He is generic as hell.
Yeah, he's not too
There's
bad.
generic,
Into
boring,
movies.
bland crap.
Yeah, well, look at Fast and Furious. That sort of explains.
I call it the Fast and Pointless series.
Yeah, pretty much.
Here's the thing. The more I've got into this, the less I don't watch anything outside of horror because there's too much in it.
Yeah.
You can watch 10 different horror movies and have 10 different experiences because of all the subgenres.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm happy about the lane, so I don't get
we
bored.
could have as an example with Undying Love. We could have a story. We could have a prequel of how Lilith got there.
Mhm.
We could have a prequel of how Zack became a vampire.
Yeah.
It can venture off into a whole heap of different areas, but obviously keep it. It wouldn't be so much be a horror. It'll be especially for Lilith, because pretty much all we know of her is she's got a daughter. We don't even know if she's got a husband or whatever. All we know of is they were in a park, then they saw something and ran, and now she's become what she is. And there's so much we could do with that. But yet, if we did that in a different genre, it would be so much harder to do. And yeah, that's another reason why I like the horror genre. There's just so much you can do with it. You don't need Hollywood special effects for them. You've just got,
It
if you
ruins it,
get good
actually.
lighting people. Yeah, 100%. If you get good lighting people, good gappers in there, you get a good script, good director, good everything. You don't need $100 million just for the special effects. And that's what I like about horrors. And let's just say The Conjuring, they didn't need a lot of special effects in that. They didn't need to spend $200 million on it. And it was a damn good movie. I mean, I don't know why it scared the crap out of me, but it was a damn good movie. And when it comes to horror, that is my favorite horror movie, number one.
Yeah, the first one, I just thought it took a bit too long to get there. You spend a lot of time with jump scares and that before actually getting to the meat and bones of it.
Yeah.
The sequels, not so much. I'm still going to say that. Is it The Last Rites? Is the last one coming out?
Oh, Last Right. That's not James Wan. That's not James Wan. James Wan didn't direct that one.
All right, that's the one that's coming out, isn't it? The final one. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who I can't remember his name.
I'll
the guy
see it as a completionist.
Yeah.
Series.
If it is closing. But
sure, when I did a review of the Nun 2, I was telling people I was asleep.
Oh, really?
Because I couldn't, the movie, they only had it in the 4DX, you know, the one with the chairs that move back and forward and throw stuff in your face. Well, it was like a rocking chair. And I'd been at work and knocking my pan and stuff, and I went, and it just started rocking me back and forward. And that was me. I was like, and it was only until the priest went in fire that I sort of went, oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were doing that thing with the carboy of bloody wine. I'm like, that's going to get smashed. And they kept going. I'm like, would you just smash it already? Fucking 5 minutes. You're going to smash it. Just smash it and get over and done with. It's like somebody with a wooden plank and it's going on for half an hour before they do the stuff. Like, it's like, come on. We know what's going to happen. Just do it.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't overly fussed on The Nun. It didn't make a lot of sense. I've only seen it once.
The Nun 2 is worse.
But well, actually, if you put both of them in, I didn't mind it. I don't mind the movies that don't have action or don't have a shitload of horror in them. I don't mind them. It's the ones that make you think. I don't mind them. There's a lot of thought in them. And there's a lot of questions unanswered in Nun 1, but they answer them in Nun 2. But then it's sort of going, as I'm watching number 2, I'm going, oh, that explains that in number 1. I think I said that. But
there was an entire movie of the Nun 1, you know, it just felt like they were filling holes and gaps and just being contrived. And it's like,
yeah. But sort of, that's what I mean. Nun 2 sort of filled in those gaps sort of thing. And I think maybe that's why, no, probably not. But that's sort of the way I went with Undying Loves 2. Mm-hmm. Filled in those gaps, answered your questions on the review. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
That's it's a tricky one. Do you ever get tempted just to go back and redo, or is it a point where you've got the direction, okay, right, this has happened now, I just got to move forward? Is there a trap you could find yourself falling into? You just, okay, got to go back, re-edit? Because you see, George Lucas is the worst person for that. Couldn't stop poking and destroyed his legacy.
Are you meaning for a whole movie or during the editing process?
That, you know what I mean? You've got a movie or a series of movies, and then you just can't leave it alone. You have to go back and poke and redo. Is there a time for that? Or do you just have to go, right, I've made this thing and I have to move forward?
Yeah, for me, it's just, move forward. It's done and dusted. I actually delete everything off my computer, except for the actual movies and BTS and so forth. Mm-hmm. But the actual, for playtime, I've still got all the footage and so forth because that was my first ever movie. I'm keeping that. Mm-hmm. But Undying Love, if I went to edit that, it wouldn't happen because I don't have the footage. Sorry, Dell, but I think I actually put it on Google Drive for Dell to take the footage and so forth. So she's got everything there, if I remember rightly. But yeah, generally I force myself not to go back into it, because if I want to go back into it, I've got nothing there. I can't. And I personally can't afford to go out and say, okay, we need all those actors again. We've got to piss fart around trying to get a certain day that they're all available. Got to get the cast, got to get the crew. It's just too much rigmarole where I could be spending that time and money on something new. I'd rather something new than something that's already been done.
Yep, and just learn from the past and keep going.
Yeah. And it's like my editing skills. They're getting better and better because my clients have been asking for certain things, and I'm sort of, I don't know how to do that. YouTube is my best friend. I'll YouTube it, going, can this be done? Bang, they show us how to do it. Bang, I know how to do it, and it's done. Like, bit of a spoiler with this music video I'm making. She wanted light coming through the wall, through the windows of the church. I had no idea. I had no idea how to do that. I didn't even know if it was possible on Premiere Pro. Googled, YouTubed it, and it can be done, and I did it. And now that's a new thing I know how to do, and I can add those sort of things into the next one. I'd rather get better at different movies. Each movie I do, it gets better, rather than try to better something that isn't that great. I want to show my progression as well.
That's the only thing, because I had a previous podcast and it was basically radio plays, things in radio play format. And I learned so much about editing. The thing is, going back to narrative fiction, it's just so much simpler. So there's actually less to do. That's, but there's things like you've got two actors and you're trying to get a scene and you're trying to, make it happen. And it's not even just the special effects, but even getting their levels and so on, or somebody walking across a room, you're trying to get that. And the first 10 years, like that's where I learned everything. And just I remember the frustration, but also I figured it out. Yeah, that's in the bank now. And it's interesting when I get to talk to people that are starting out, because do you ever get that? You're appointing people reach out to you, and you're like, what are you talking to me for? Like, you've been doing this for years. And you're like, why are you talking to me? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, right, okay. And I still think I'm always learning. I don't know anything, because I just know all the stuff that I don't know. I just realize I don't know half of that stuff. Here's all the things I'm trying to figure out.
And people are using terminologies and going, what does that mean? Well, quick Google, find out what they're actually talking about. And especially in the industry, somebody said something rather, I can't remember the name. I'm going, what the hell does that mean? I didn't ask him, I Googled it. I'm going, oh, okay, just a hell of a lot easier saying this. Then everybody know what you're talking about.
But so, this is back to what I'm saying about people are trying, there's always this thing, people are trying to box folks in, through courses and certificates and validation. So then they start bringing in terminology, and it's that case of, you're not in our gang unless you use a terminology. And it's a bit pretentious, but also control as well. Do you ever? I'm anti that. I just speak plainly. If you're trying to throw terminology in, you're trying to sound smarter, but maybe 9 times out of 10 you're not. It's exactly the person that can just speak plainly and show you how to do something. I'll always go to that. I hate people like that. I can't think of the words. Is it as bad in the film industry as the writing? Because I've seen it massively in sort of the independent writing sphere. People trying to do that.
Again, depending on who you talk to. My old teacher said he's gone through my script. He's picked it to pieces, which is great, which I refixed it and so forth. He said, what you need to do is get this script Hollywood standard. Then learn the terminologies like FTS, or FTA, which is free to air, or PTV, pay TV, those sort of terminology. Then he said he knows Chris Sun. I don't know, this is an Australian movie. I just reviewed
recently there, Charlie's Farm with Cameron.
Oh, I haven't seen Charlie's Farm.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. It's a bad movie when Tara Reid is the best actor in it.
Well,
The
he
waste that
did.
Kane Hodder just brought him into Hodder's
Ah,
name, and the waste that his character. Oh God, it
he
was.
did the movie called Ball.
I loved
As
Boar. Boar was great,
you
and they had the same. You know, the
yeah,
big fella. God, what do you call him? He
the
was
big
in.
fella.
He's the one that played Charlie. He was in Boar. Remember the one that
Oh yeah, that
sort
one.
of
Yeah, yeah.
like the penultimate.
The
He
the
basically
big
tried
Ute
to.
owner,
Hmm?
the Hilux owner,
Yeah,
the big Ute owner. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
The one who.
So he was in Charlie. He was the one that played
Anything
Charlie
over.
in
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
But he didn't have
He's a
much to do. No, he's
no,
just
not
there to
really.
big
He had to
hulking
go.
brute. Oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah. But my teacher said if you're talking to somebody like Chris Sun, learn the terminology. 100%. He will come back with abbreviations of everything. You've got to know what it is when you're talking. Otherwise, they're not going to be interested. The big names are solely interested if you can talk like them.
Mm-hmm.
The little names, like the big grade movies and so forth, they don't give a shit about them. They really don't care. It's if you don't understand what I mean, ask. Like if somebody said FTS, and I'd say, "What's FTS?" And they'll say, "Oh yeah, free to FTA, sorry, FTA. Oh, that's free to air. Oh, okay, yeah, not a problem." And but if you Chris Sun, bigger names and so forth, they would, from what I've heard, they would turn around and say, "Okay, yeah, you're not up to standard," sort of thing.
Yeah, once again, pretentiousness. It's not ability. It's you're not part of the club.
Yeah, exactly. And
Do you ever worry about becoming that?
Being up there?
Becoming not being up there. I'm not talking about being successful.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry about looking at yourself in the mirror one day and realize, say, you get into like the Chris Suns or start moving in that, and then you become that person, and you don't recognize yourself anymore? And do you ever worry about that? I do. Like especially in the YouTube sphere, you see some of the bigger YouTube, and they're absolutely arseholes. And
oh yeah,
all they do is bitch and drama, and all they do is snipe at each other because they're all after the clickbait. And I never want to be that. I'd rather never succeed.
That's why I said I'll never go to Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's the sole reason why I said I don't want to go to Hollywood, because I don't want to end up like them. Mm-hmm. I want to end like a small director, a small maybe producer, but a small director, small writer. I want to make one A grade movie, and that was with James Wan. But I want to make B grade movies, because you've got Hollywood standards here. Now B grade movies are all the way down here.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, it's started changing. People are turning their back on Hollywood, and the B grade movies are coming up because it's original.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to stay in that area in the B grade movies. I don't want to get big Hollywood stars in.
I'll always bring up Joker 2 versus Terrifier 3. That was golden.
I haven't seen Terrifier 3 yet.
It's better than Terrifier 2. They've actually Damien's learned to edit, so
they got more of a budget. They didn't have, I think there was about $2,000 budget on the first one, something like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Terrifier, can you see that in the background?
Oh yes, yes.
Over there.
No, look down. See your art mask as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Art. I actually started writing a script, inspired by Art the Clown. It was a mime. Mm-hmm. And I didn't write much of it. He's just doing miming. Somebody starts making fun of him, and basically the mime sort of says, gets him close. He opens up the briefcase and pulls out a corkscrew straight through the guy's eye, and starts twisting and twisting and twisting. Pulls out his eye, and it's connected to this corkscrew. Everybody's screaming, running, and all that. Casually just closes the case, walks in the nearest building, and disappears. And that's pretty much where I got up to. Mm-hmm. And he was just basically a serial killer. And he was a nice guy, but he's a serial killer if you piss him off.
That's understandable. There's days I have to shut my mouth. You meet certain individuals, you're like, no.
Yeah, you've got it. Yeah.
You'll end up thinking. Yeah. No, Damien Leone, the budget was like, it wasn't even 10 million for Terrifier 3. Yeah. Joker 2, hundreds. One flopped, one became the most profitable movie of all time.
I'm guessing Terrifier 3 wasn't
absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I like the. I think in the Terrifier. I think it's in a way it's original. The I mean,
Well, have you seen
in
All
my
Hallows
view,
Eve and the Ninth Circle?
sorry,
Have you seen All Hallows Eve and the Ninth Circle?
All Hallow. Yeah,
So
years
the
ago.
Ninth Circle is the first one. It's the short, and that's what they had. Wasn't
In the
David Howard
train,
Thornton? It was the other.
in the train, in the train, in
The train station and
train station. Yeah,
yep,
the girl.
yep.
Yep, but we
And
only
then
seen.
obviously that's the movie during All Hallows Eve, the anthology. It's the Ninth Circle is being played. That's the videotape.
Well, I watch one in the different language. There's one in a different language, and because I looked it up and went, okay, he's in a different movie. I'll type this up, and this one came up, and it was different language, obviously subtitles, but in a different language. And I thought, okay, I'll give this a watch anyway. And
No,
I
even
didn't
before
mind it.
Terrifier came out, yeah, it was too.
Yeah. It's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. I think all I looked up was a short movie that Art the Clown was in. I think that's what I googled, and this movie came up, and I thought I'd give it a go, see what happens, and I didn't mind it. I thought it was actually quite good.
Yeah,
but he wasn't in it long. He was only in the train station. That's it.
Yeah, but I was actually the lighting guy.
Really?
Yeah. So it wasn't David Howard Thornton. It's a different actor.
Yeah.
It's actually the lighting guy that basically Damon Hooney asked, would you mind doing this? I need, this is the character.
Oh,
and he plunked him in.
Wow, didn't know that.
Yeah. Because they keep talking about Art's backstory. And I think, okay, that was Art as a human. So after he gave the sacrifice of Satan, that's how he came back as a demon. And All Hallows Eve, you then tell a story. And I hope he does bring it back to that. And I hope he's not going the way of he's Siena's father, because that would be annoying. Really not buying that. He's got fixated in that actress and making her the next best thing. And I'm like, nah, you're forgetting what we're here for. We're here to see Art, not her. She's all right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, that'll be me on Halloween too. Unless I've got to work. I may have to actually work on. I'm mentioning this for a reason because it is horror based. I may actually have to work on the 31st when Undying Love Director's Edition is released. Have you ever heard of Movie World?
Movie World?
Yeah.
It's
basically a theme park. It's basically a theme park based on movies. Warner Brothers. It's actually Warner Brothers. They have a nights or 3 nights, I believe, strictly Halloween. So it's all horror stuff. So I'm applying on end of this month, auditioning for one of the people who dress up and scare the shit out of people.
Oh, right.
And so I may actually miss my my premiere of my version of it. So, but I will have great support. Dell will be there. She has already said she's already got it marked and she's going to stay up for it. Oh, yeah. I think she said it was about 10 o'clock at night or something like that for her. Yeah. So, yeah, it's sort of, I want to get into the acting as well. But with my memory for lines, my short-term memory is absolutely shot when it comes to remembering lines and so forth. Then I thought Art the Clown, Leatherface, Jason, none of them have speaking roles, but they're iconic. And I thought maybe I could do that because people have said when I look serious, I sort of look like I could be a homicidal maniac or something like that, a serial killer. I've got that look. And I thought, man, I'd try to give that a go. There is something I do want to talk to you, but off the air in that regards.
Right.
Because I can't say too much. But yeah. So I figured that's a step forward in what I want to do, expand my horizon, so to speak. And that's basically step one. I could say, yeah, I've been an actor at Movie World for Halloween, and I did this. And
it's more for the experience, isn't it, than the actual notoriety or the fame. It's like, yeah, here's something I haven't done. I want to stretch myself Is that
Yeah,
always the creative spirit, isn't it? Is that something you
Oh,
always
yeah.
find as a creator? You just have to, you're always looking for something you feel like you're always plugging a gap or there's something missing. You don't want to have anything missing. You want to be the full package.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's why I've decided I've gone through everything: writing, directing, producing. I
Has this
don't
been
want to
your
touch
entire
light.
career or is it something you fell into?
I
How
fell
did that?
into it. I was told by my ex-partner that TAFE had a screen and media course. It was only a Cert 3, and I thought, yeah, I'll look into it. I've always wanted to get into movies and see how things are done behind the scenes. But I went to the open day and they showed us around and so forth, but there was 3 people only, and it was $69 per week I had to pay for it. And that was only a Cert 3. And I talked to the teacher. He said, drop out of the Cert 3. Go into the diploma. That's free. And I said, hang on. How come I didn't hear about this? And it was strictly through Facebook. My ex-partner, she found it. And so I jumped in the diploma. And from then on, it was, I knew I had to be part of movies. Because I made the first film I made was a silent film called Angels Among Us. That was actually based on a song called Angels Among Us. It's a country song. And then I made Playtime. Troy came up with the script, with the idea for Playtime. He said, what happens if a couple of ghost hunters decide to go ghost hunting and one of them gets possessed? And that's all he said. And I came up with the script for that. And that only took me probably 3 or 4 days to write. And then through my writing class, within a month, I had the feature film written. And then the first opportunity I had outside of TAFE was Undying Love. She sent me the script. I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I liked it. But then when I put on script read, I fell in love with it. Then as I'm listening to it back, and my own voice is really weird, to be honest. I'm listening to it back and I'm picturing the scenes and so forth. And that's when I said to Dell, look, if you can come up with the money, I'll make it. Because that was when I fell in love with the script. But writing all these scripts and having these visions in my head, people have actually said, you're a natural writer. I can write a feature film script in a month or 2. I can write a 10-minute film in 2 hours. It's the way it's, I don't know. People just said you're a natural for the industry. The teachers have said that. I've even got support from one of my teachers a year outside of TAFE. He's
And how long has this been?
I only finished TAFE last year. July last year. So from July, I re-edited Playtime and turned that into Spectre. I did Undying Love. I've written 30 short scripts-ish. I'm just about to complete a music video. So I'm sort of expanding my horizons a bit. And she came up, she saw a couple of my movies and said, how would you like to do this? I was thinking, I've never done that before, but what is a music video? I said to myself, it's just basically a short film with music.
So that was sort of my question, like without getting into specifics or anything, but your career hasn't always been in the creative industry, or was it in some way? Is this a recent discovery that you have you always been a creative, but not in the creative role? Have you been frustrated? Is this something you've discovered about yourself or wanted to expand?
Okay, to be honest,
it sounds like you've gone on a bit of a journey here, and now you've discovered this thing. It's clicked in your head, and you're wanting to squeeze as much out as possible. It'll just be interesting to hear about that. How it's all.
Well, I'm 51. Around when I was 17, I came up with an idea of the movie, of a feature film. I didn't know. Obviously, back then I had no idea. It actually jumped out of my head for years. I completely forgot about it. But when I started tape and the writing started going, I actually started writing on this other one. The writing started. I'm thinking, then I look back at when I was 17 or whatever it was. I'm thinking, hang on, this has always been in me. It's been screaming to get out. Then I've got remembering throughout my entire life all these other ideas I've had. And now the way I see it, it's always been in me, but I didn't know how to express it. I didn't know how to get it to film. I didn't know how to get it to paper. All I knew is how to keep it in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I see it is this opportunity, which only arose last year or 2 years ago, that has helped me get everything out. So yes, it's always been in me, but I had no idea how to get it out. And I mean, for the last 20 years, I've been a truck driver. So,
but have you had that? Because it sounds similar to my story in a sense. I have always been a frustrated creative, and I've never found a way to do it. But I'm also, at my heart, I'm a systems person. I'm a processes person. That's the whole thing with data and information.
Yeah,
it's only through 2013, 2014 when I first got into podcasting that I unleashed this thing, and then finally getting into, because I was working with authors. It's one of those, people inspired me. I was talking to people. It's like, I have to start writing myself, but also my skills are, I'm never going to be just like the pure writer.
Yeah,
that's why I became actually a publisher and a producer, because I'm good at bringing things together and taking elements. That's actually where I'm really, I can get things done. Over the last 5 years, I've never been happier. I'm skint, right? I'm broke, but somebody, like a ring bell or something. Like I said,
yeah.
I'm broke at the moment, but I've never been happier, because I just feel so focused and driven, and things are happening, and I'm seeing things getting manifested out of ideas.
Yeah.
Are you feeling sort of similar? Like, you've got this thing awakened in you, and you're getting to actually do it, and you didn't know before, but yeah, there's the challenges and all, but do you feel like it's worthwhile?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I suggest anybody out there who does have something in you that needs to get out, like you've got an idea, get it out there. Don't procrastinate. I procrastinated for 30 odd years, and now I'm getting in the industry at age 51. I'd rather get in the industry at 18, and who knows? I could have made heaps of movies by now, but now,
or maybe not. You might have been destroyed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's maybe it's the right time.
Yeah, 100%. Do it. Go and do the courses. Go and, yes, that might cost you money, but just like anything else in the world, if you don't take the risk, you'll never know.
100%. The way I see it, you could sit and you could go to the bar and sit there and just drown yourself in regret, or you could follow a sports team, and that's what you do. You spend your tickets. You could have 100 different subscription services, do all the things, and that you could be a gamer. I don't see that being any different. As long as you find the right, it's all about finding the right people, isn't it? And just stay away from the shysters. Nothing wrong with having a hobby and investing in yourself. And if it turns into something, great.
Yeah.
But also, if not, I don't believe being creative is a waste of time.
No, never.
Because the benefits of your life, of sparking your imagination, you cannot put a price on that.
Yeah, 100%. You will. I honestly, I have had critics, but they've said things that should have really hurt me, but I sort of laughed at it and go, yeah, okay, I won't listen to you. And you keep the positivity in your life. I'm on Facebook pages. Some people will help, some people will criticism. I sort of look at their criticism. Okay, yeah, okay, next comment. Just don't let anybody get you down. Don't let anybody make you take a step backwards. There's millions of people out there who will help. Listen to them. They're the ones, if they've been in the industry for 20, 30 years, you've been in it for one day, listen to them. Listen to everything they say. If you don't agree with them, you don't have to. It's up to yourself to do it. And the only way you're going to get out there is to do things.
Mhm.
It's that simple. You've got to do it.
They're just saying an athlete will never slag you off for working out. An opera singer will never slag you off for singing. An author will never slag you off for writing. The people that want to destroy you are the ones that don't do anything. They've nothing productive to offer to the world.
Yeah.
You have to look at that person. The one that wants you to stop. There's a difference between somebody trying to tear you down and constructive criticism. You know what I mean? It's worlds apart, and it's you're putting yourself out there, aren't you? Like, it's the most vulnerable thing you can do is to create something that you're putting your imagination, your heart, your soul, your emotions into, and then laying it out there to go, this is my thing. What do you think? Like, the people that will just tear you apart and go, you're shit, you know.
Yeah.
They'll never do anything.
Well, I did have somebody say, "Oh, that movie was shit." Yeah, I did have one comment. "Oh, that movie was shit." They're talking about Playtime. "Oh, that was absolute crap. That would never happen." Blah blah blah. I said, "What have you done?" They didn't comment. I looked on their profile page. There's absolutely nothing about movies, links to movies they've made. They hadn't done anything, so I just sort of laughed at them and, yeah, okay, you're useless. You're an idiot, sort of thing. And I just didn't let it get me down. I just listened to positivity. And yeah, that's what I suggest for everybody, is listen to positivity. And
but beware the sycophants. Don't go that direction either. That's the thing. It's everything's always a gauge. There's no black and white or 0 and 1. You know, nothing's binary.
Exactly.
You gotta find that balance all the time.
If you have an idea, get it out. It's simple as that. Get it out and get it out quick. Don't wait years and years and years. I know I've waited only a year for Playtime, the feature, which I've actually renamed. But I got criticism on that script, and I lapped it up. I got criticism from you, but constructive criticism with Undying Love. And I looked at everything you said and going, you're right. You're 100% right with that. And that's why when I did number 2, I added them in to explain the question, I don't know, 20 odd questions you had about the movie. I explained.
No, I appreciate that, because I always say, I'll be on, because it's about your integrity at the end of the day. I'm not going to be a shill. I'm also not going to be an edgelord either and just hate something for the sake of it. I'm not that person. If something's there, taking merits. And also, I don't want that to me. Like, have stuff there. I don't want people coming to me and go, oh, brilliant, brilliant. And if I'm putting out something that's absolutely terrible, or if I've missed something, you know, that's why you have that network around you. And that's why you do it. We're all trying to improve. That's one thing I love about the horror genre is there's a different mindset with creators. We're always trying to help each other and lift each other up and make each other better.
Yeah, 100%.
No other genre does that.
No, they're always in competition with each other and so forth. It's because there's a lot of pages out there, YouTube channels that will only show horror movies. I did try to start one up, didn't really lift off at all. But I don't see anything like that with comedy. I only strictly want comedies on my channel, sort of thing. But you do see I only strictly want horrors. And like you said, the horror sticks together and everybody else is on different sides of the world and staying there, sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's why I have less and less interest in other genres. The more I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
Well, if I sit down
people are some of the worst, they're the nastiest people on the planet. It's really interesting. You see them with the mask off, and you're like, okay, right. And a lot of it isn't even comedy anymore. It's just sniping, and you're like,
yeah,
okay, you do you, yeah. See you.
Yeah. I'll stay out of that part. I was going to say something, but I've lost it. I can't remember what it was.
I do it all the time. So.
Yeah, I did warn you about my memory.
No, I'm the same. I forget stuff all the time. I'm terrible for names, characters' names, and so forth. Yeah, if I don't have them highlighted and down, I'll forget characters' names. Because
I'm the same way. Aaliyah. Aaliyah. The one who played Jenny. I could never remember it was Alia or Aaliyah. I was at one stage I was calling her Alia because it's AALIYH.
Paul Shooty's sister.
Yeah, and it's eventually they just gave in to my mistake, and she just kept answering to Leah, and they would tell me within 5 minutes I'd forget, and that's another reason why I can't really get into scripts, remembering scripts, because I will forget unless let's just say I had a 10-word script. I'd have to read that 100 times before I remember. Yeah, so that's why I wouldn't get into acting unless it's a non-speaking role or I've only got a couple of lines. But
yeah, but you're just doing it really to do it. Once again, it's to plug the gap. It's not.
Yeah, oh, that's what it was. You're talking about people, again, plugging the gap. People are moving around the industry. They're using an actor, but they want to do different things. One of my sausage sizzle specialists, Tegan Ford, she was also my runner. She actually came to me and said, I'm actually an actor, but I don't want to be an actor. I want to see behind the scenes. I want to see what's going on behind the scenes. I said, I could put you as runner. She said, what's that? I said, that's basically anybody wants anything, you do it. You help the cameraman set up, you help the lighting set up. You're basically a gopher. You do everything on set. She said, yeah. That way I can see what actually happens behind the scenes. And I think that's fantastic. A runner is I've been very lucky, to be honest, but a runner is where everybody starts. You don't charge. You say, I'll do it for free. I don't care about money. I want to get in the industry. And you start as a runner, as the lowest, well, I wouldn't say the lowest point, but you start at a low point. You don't try to start as director. You start as a runner or camera assist or lighting assist and so forth. But I was lucky, having already directed and written two movies before I left TAFE. I was pretty much jumped into directing role. But if somebody turned around to me and said, look, I've got this production, it's a feature film, I know you're a director, but can you be a runner? Because you know what goes on behind the scenes. I would put my hand up any day of the week and say yes.
One of my friends, Calvin, he's owns 7th Street Productions, director, but he's always in other sets, helping out. Just loves it, That's one thing I find frustrating. The UK is terrible now for the creative space. And it's all about snobbery. It's all bourgeois, sort of, if you're not, it's only people sticking their nose in the air. If you're not part of our club, we don't want you. Where I've noticed Americans, great, they'll just band together, they'll do it. New Zealanders, Aussies, these are fantastic. You have that energy about you, and you build little small communities. You don't care because you're doing the things you love. I feel really over here, it's just so stifled, and it's very rare I speak to a movie director, especially in horror, from the UK. I've spoke to like one in all the interviews I've done, and then never heard from him again, and I never heard how his project went, and it's very I just find it really sad over here, considering the fact we like the Hammer horror genre, the Amicus films. Like, I know the Amicus films are trying to come back, but even then, there's still that standoffishness over here. Which I find really frustrating. And it's like, I'm not just want to get to know people, want to talk to them, but it's all about if you're not a certain status and all, they're all about that. Like, it's very Victorian still era. It's that sort of, that's why you'd see nothing really inspiring. Even that 28 years later come out, it's all right as a movie, but it's not going to change your life.
No,
and they only come out now and again. I can't help. I'm so. What I'm trying to say is, keep it going. What is the horror scene like in Australia, for example? Is it a buzzing community? Is it just find the right people at the right time? Is there a lot of collaboration, like in real life, not just online? Is there a scene there?
Honestly, where I am, I'm in Brisbane, and there's not a lot movies. I don't know many people in the actual industry, let alone horror. Yes, I have been meeting people, but they're pretty much my crew. And they're the once I've met them, I brought them on a couple of sets, and they've done really well. So I say, look, you're hired again for next movie I make. But when it comes to knowing people, I don't believe I know anybody at all. Brisbane, yes, there's a lot of movies being, even Hollywood movies being recorded here, but the only people I do know are the ones on the internet. I did try to organise a few people to get together and throw out ideas, extra directors and so forth who are around here, but it never eventuated because I couldn't organise a day or a time or anything like that. No, everybody was too busy. Not on sets, they were just too busy or couldn't be bothered, sort of thing. It was just over coffee. But I think I posted on a local page that I'm a movie director, and somebody actually commented, "You're a movie director in Brisbane. I didn't think we had any." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Actually, it's horror is my genre." And he said, "That is so." This guy just commented, "That is so cool. I've never heard of a movie director in Brisbane, let alone horror, which is my favorite genre as well." And I believe he's now following my page and following me, sort of thing. He might even be here. I'm not too sure. That was last year, so I have no idea who that was.
It does give you heart sometimes, if you just a person. How do you find, like you said, you've been in courses and so forth. How has your experience been being the horror person amongst the normies?
I wasn't the only one in the course. There was 2 or 3 of us, but yeah, we sort of connected together, sort of thing. I mean, our class was brilliant. There was nobody by themselves. We were all pretty much one group. We didn't have groups. They said this. We were all pretty much one group. We would go over to somebody else and say, "Oh, okay, you're a horror buff. Can you give me a hand with that?" I had a lot of people coming to me saying, "Okay, what do you think of this?" Like I was a professional. I think it was mainly because all I did was talk horror. But yeah, we sort of did combined. Even actually Matt, who played Shane in Playtime, he was dragged off my set at the end to play. Oh no, sorry, Mick. That was Sam, who played Mick. He was actually dragged off my set when we finished when we wrapped, and put on a different movie. But originally she came to me and asked me to act in it because solely because I knew horror. I knew how to act, and I knew what I should be doing because it's basically I'm horror. As simple as that. And yeah, we sort of definitely did connect as horrors. But yeah, I think
was that just instant? Oh, right, we're all the same, both a little cluster.
In a way, yeah, because believe it or not, I'm actually very, very introverted if I don't know somebody. But once I've met them or I've actually started talking to them, I'll talk their ear off. Unless somebody comes to me, I won't go over to somebody else and say blah, blah, blah. They have to come to me because, yeah, that's just me. Yeah. So they generally came to me to ask for help because they knew I'd been watching horrors pretty much all my life. It could be my age too, because majority of them are teenagers. And because I've had more experience in life and in horror movies and so forth, I've seen a lot more than they have. And yeah, so we sort of connected with that as well. So yeah, I think I got off topic a little bit there.
No, that was just an experience that, you answered it. It's like I said, if not much, but once people get together, it's amazing. Like when you find people of the same mentality or going in the same direction, it is a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's why I've got my crew. I've got my gappers. I will always hire them back. I've got Matt. He's also agreed if I do ever get the funding for the feature, he's willing to come back and play Shane. And Shane he's in it for the whole movie. I've got Adam, my DOP. He's happy to help me out with any projects and so forth. He's pretty good. And Megan, she's been she was my editor. She did the editing on Undying Love. It was phenomenal what she did. These are all people from TAFE. I did meet the gaffers. That would be Dan and Reese. I did meet them on a different set. And yeah, so they're the only two people I didn't meet at TAFE, but they were in TAFE the year before that or something like that. Oh, actually, no, Adam told me they were in TAFE the same year as us, but they weren't in our classes, so we never actually met them. So pretty much I've got 100%, except for the actors, I've got 100% TAFE students on my crew. And I'm always happy to have them back. Always. Generally, I found the cast on Star Now. I found Emma, who played Jenny, who played Lilith. She was on Star Now. Alia, she was on Star Now. And Matt. Matt was on Playtime. And I didn't find Hunter. The scene where we were going to do the dream sequence. I was trying to find a dream sequence for a back patio sort of thing. So I put it on Facebook, and this lady came up, Felicity came up and said, I've got a back patio. Here's a photo. Oh, I'd love to go see it. Then I walked in there, went over to her place, had a look at the back patio. Then her son walks out, and my jaw just dropped. Long hair, long black hair. When he's talking, it was just monotone. There was no emotion in his talking. And I'm going, have you ever acted? And he said, only in background. Can you just say these lines? And I showed him the script and say these lines for me. I said, I want you. It's as simple as that. I want you to play Zach. Never acted before. It was very hard because I've got a non-actor playing a main character and I've got a stage actor. So I've got one actor up here, one actor down here. I had to bring Emma down to this level, or try to bring Emma down to this level because she's acting to the camera, not to hundreds of people. And I had to bring Hunter's acting up. It didn't always work out. On the set, it didn't always work out. That long scene walking down the hallway, I wasn't 100% happy with it, but it turned out good. I wanted Hunter to slow down, and telling somebody who's constantly talking to slow down, take gaps in between. It was pretty hard. So
I talk very quickly, so that's been a struggle in my life, especially when I started this. Go down the dozen. It's something you need to practice, and if you're only doing it for the first time, and if that's him actually in the first situation where he's like in a movie getting put together, he's going 9 to a dozen in the back of his head. So
if I had more
actually
time,
see that.
If I had an extra day, I would have taken that day just to do that scene, just to get it absolutely perfect. Because I had to actually adjust the set. With the hallway scene, I actually had to make it long as possible. Then when she runs out, she's only got about 5 foot to run into past the camera. But when we came to day 2, that we did that scene on day 3. But day 2, the room you saw, that was cut down to day 3. They cut down about halfway to day 3. And it was just a lot of buggerizing around, changing set and so forth. If I had more time, if I had a full day, I would have redone that. But don't get me wrong, I was ecstatic with the way it turned out. And there's nothing wrong with his memory. I couldn't even remember that because that scene wasn't actually in the movie. I was talking to Adam, my DOP, and I said, oh, hang on. We were talking about the movie, and I said, I got on my phone, had a look at the notes, and went, What do you think of this? Then I read it out. He goes, why is that not in the movie? That could be an iconic scene. If you do it right, that could be an iconic scene. That should be in the movie. Why is that not in the script? He said, do it right now. Go downstairs, put it on your computer, do it now, put it in there. And I think within a day, Hunter had it memorized, the whole thing. I can't even remember it. But my memory's shit. But yeah. So I think I was going somewhere with it, but I can't remember what it was.
No, okay, it's just that the time constraints and that, and you've got it, something's going to work.
Yeah.
You just want to get it polished, and it's back to that frustration. Like I said, you've got something on paper, like back to the start of our conversation, and it's the reality of you're trying to make this thing happen, and just life, all the obstacles, and you'll never be 100% happy, but it's getting it over the hurdle, isn't it? Getting over the line. And you're already above people who never will. Oh, I think you're frozen. Oh dear, I've killed him. Hopefully he's back in a wee second. Yeah, Clayton's internet's just went wibble. No, I think what he's talking about is just, hang on, he'll bounce back in and then we can wrap up. Yeah, one thing I'll never slag anybody off is for doing something, actually creating. There's so many people out there with pipe dreams that, I wish, the world's against me, blah, blah, blah. Just as an excuse never to take that step. And like Clayton said, it was 51 and he's only a year and he's already got 3 movies under his belt. He's got plans ahead. Like, that's got to be respected. And already he's a step above the pipe dreamer or somebody that, I'd just love to if the world would just line up for me and sort of rule over. The world does not do that. The world will kick you at every opportunity and every turn. That's just the way it is. And you just got to navigate around it. Anyone thinks to just get the pathway out in front of them and just walk along. They're a civil servant. They're not a creative. They're just there to tick boxes. They're not there to actually make anything in the world. If you're going to make something in the world, you got to move around. You got to go through struggle. You got to find a way. One thing I was actually a wee bit nervous about talking to Clayton because, like I said, I did give constructive criticism when I reviewed the movie. Same as with the hell I told her, I don't know if you want me to do this because I'll always be honest. And it's one of them things that people can fall out with. I've had people fall out with me over reviews and stuff. That happens. But when it's not coming from a sort of mentality of nastiness, you're not trying to turn someone down. You're just, you're picking out the points. I'm really happy the way the conversation going. Just hope he comes back on so I can wrap up. That shows strength of character. Same as like I mentioned, Calvin. Cameron tore his movie apart. His first one, absolutely tore it to shreds. And now he's been on the show quite a few times. We've reviewed loads of his movies now. We've actually seen the progression from the first one to his 9th or 10th main feature. We all start somewhere. People have, like, early videos on this channel, people have torn them to shreds. Same as my first book. People have tore it to shreds. That's fair enough. You got to go through that journey and you can't be afraid. As long as you're trying your best and you genuinely want to make something, you're not just pumping it out for the sake of it. You actually have got that desire. Things will fall into place. What level you get to, that's all subjective. Most of that is luck. And you hear that story, people become really successful. The overnight success takes 10 years for it to happen. It may never come to be, but if you're being productive and you're trying something, you'll have a satisfying life. And that's something I'm worried about is being lost, is that desire to create things. Because people are like being dulled down because of short form content. They're losing their imagination. They don't even want to listen to like anything long form now. If it's not 30 seconds, that's it. It's not leading to good places. Let me just open up emails in case he messages. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, something's happened. It's went Whipple. He got kicked out. Hopefully, get Clayton in back in a second so you don't have to listen to me waffling on. But once again, here's the thing: technical stuff happens. Don't let it stop you. If anything from this chat, and that's why I like doing these chats and talking to other creators, because sometimes something will go wrong while I'm doing this, and I'll lose a plot, and I'll just like, why am I wasting my time? Blah blah blah. And I have to remember that that's just part of the process. If everything went perfect all the time and fell into place, well, what's the point? Life is about challenge, and it's about overcoming it and making yourself better than what you were. And yep, that's your test. Everything that goes wrong or goes wibble, that's sort of your test and your chance to think outside the box to overcome the problem. And when you come through the other side, even if something blows up in your face, you're better for the experience. The important thing is to pick yourself up and keep cracking on. I'm doing this at the moment, like I said, with the channel, but also with the publishing side of things. There's challenges there. It's all trying to find the right people, find readers, and not get into that whole I think with authors, not the mistake people make is to just talk to other creatives and forget about the customers, people that are actually going to look at the work. And it's getting out of that trap. His internet cut out. That's what happened. I thought so. Yeah, because I watched the signal disappear. Yeah, his internet cut out. Sorry, I forgot this going on in the background. I'm sort of waffling here, so we can get Clayton back on again. But yeah, that's the thing as well. It's people only ever want to hear nice things and only want to surround themselves with people that say nice things, and that's what's happened to Hollywood right now. It's just nepotism and people making stuff for each other so they can pat each other in the back, and that's why you see creativity just being absolutely destroyed. So you gotta face those hurdles. Yeah, this is a good example, Clayton, of things don't always go right, but it doesn't mean you give up at the end.
Yes, I did warn you.
Internet cuts out, random things, but you keep cracking on.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I did before we started the podcast. I did warn you that we have shitty internet.
But it happens. There's times I've been kicked. Like some of my early interviews, I was kicked out of the stream.
Oh,
that's happened to me. I'm interviewing someone, next thing I know, I'm booted out, and I'm like, "What the hell?"
The internet completely cut out. It turned off.
No, what's the little indicator? Just poof, and you froze, and then that was it. You were cut out.
Yeah. I looked down the bottom, and it said no internet.
Yep.
So I had to race upstairs, reset the internet, come back down.
That's what happens. But that's what you don't go. I give up. I'm not doing this anymore. Like that's the difference, I think, between failing and succeeding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And something's always going to blow up in your face. Earlier. Things are going to go wrong. It's how you overcome, and that you don't give up. That's one message. If I'm going to deliver a message in this channel, that's it. Don't give up.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. That don't give up. Just when you asked me, do I go back to? Oh shit, I'm trying to remember what you asked me.
Oh, do you go back over old ground, or are you always pushing forward?
Yeah, like if I come up with hiccups,
it's
do I throw in the towel or whatever? That's why I said you don't throw in the towel. You just keep going. I do anyway.
Yep.
There you go. Prime example.
Yep. There's people that would, that went wrong, and that's it. Give up. That's it. Never doing an interview again. I'm never doing this. It's like, no, that's not the way to do this. That's you're going to be a creative. That's just part of the. Sorry, that's now. Sorry, I had the emails open there for it because just in case they're messaging.
Yeah.
That's this right now.
I'm glad you did.
Shine in the face.
That was the first thing and Del, why didn't you answer your phone? I was going to get you to tell Colin that I lost.
I guess sometimes happens. That's what I mean. I popped up the email there waiting. I was going to send you a message to let you know.
Well, that's good then. I'm glad you got through it. Glad you worked it out.
We're sort of just a minor blip once again, but it proves the point. Proves the point we're talking about. Nothing's the end of the world.
Yeah, well, unless you're in the movie industry. Then again, these days everything's the end of the world. Well, if we're talking Hollywood.
Oh yeah, that's it. Like I said, that's an entity just needs to die. Just needs to go away.
Yeah.
Decentralize it. Have smaller production companies, more low, medium budget movies again, more independent creators, more variety. Let's re-spark people's imaginations. What would you say to folks? There's a reticence of, I'm not going to watch an independent movie. Oh, I might not like it. It's the same as people won't buy a book. Oh, that's an independent author. I might not like it, but they'll go and they'll spend the same money on tried and tested sludge that they're going to get nothing from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Personally, I'd rather watch the independent, support them, and rather than supporting somebody who's just spent $150 billion on one single movie. And even if I like the idea, I'll watch it, but I won't be in a hurry to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sent over a couple of movies in indie films, halfway through part 2. But eventually I'll get there. Life's gotten in the way. But yeah, I'd rather support the indie films, the ones that are low budget. You know, there's not going to be millions of dollars worth of special effects and no storyline. You know, there's going to be a storyline to it.
Oh God, I've got a screener. I've been sitting on it for a week and a half. I need to get it. I'm going to get it done tomorrow, actually. Just this last week and a half has been horrendous. Not in a bad way, just busy, you know.
Oh yeah. That's my July. I'm absolutely flat out this month. It's that's why I had to try to fit you in somewhere in amongst when I'm not doing anything. And yeah, today was the only day. Yeah, well, busy during the week.
That's the thing. We got it done. That's the important thing.
Yeah, exactly. Again, persistence.
Yep,
pays off.
Don't give up.
I want to have a bit of a chat about. I want to tell you something. Right. Being from England, being British, Conjuring 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the biggest hiccup they had on Conjuring 2?
I remember Steve telling me I know that's loosely based on real events. In real life, the Warrens, that was only ever a phone call. That was never actually a visit. So they decided to make it a visit for the purpose of the movie.
Oh no, I mean the actual production of it.
Oh no.
The biggest problem was it didn't rain in Britain. Because they said it rained every other day. We didn't need the rain, but when we needed the rain, it wouldn't come. That rain where... Sorry?
That's the British weather.
Yeah, it doesn't rain when you want, but it rains everywhere else.
Yeah.
But the final scene when the Warrens come back to the house, no, back to the apartment, that's all artificial rain because they waited and waited and waited and it didn't rain. And the day they finished shooting, it started raining again.
Yeah. There's a series on at the moment called Clarkson's Farm. I haven't watched season 4 yet, but Jeremy Clarkson, he's a well-known journalist and TV presenter over here.
Yeah.
He's run the farm. That's what the series is about. And the biggest thing is the weather. There's either too much rain, not enough, not at the right time, and just buggers everything up.
Yeah, well, the music video, we couldn't have any rain. We couldn't have the ground wet. We planned on recording the Friday and Saturday. We recorded on the Friday. Day 2, it rained. So we said, okay, 2 weeks' time, we'll do it again. It rained. 2 weeks' time, we'll do it again. It rained. Then basically we had to wait for the rain to stop because I think we had 2 weeks of rain. It was horrible weather here. And eventually we got it done, but I went out there a couple of times. We were about to get early on set, as I always am. And I realized as I'm driving down, I'm going, it looks like it's going to rain. Even if it looks like it's going to rain, because we've got thousands of dollars worth of lighting. You don't want that wet. And I had to call it. As much as I didn't want to, I just had to call it saying there's rain coming. It could be here in a couple of hours, but we're going to be on set in a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to call it so many times. We tried during the week. We tried weekends. Every time we tried, we organized it. Just everybody just stay at home until I'll give you the approval that we're going. I went out there one day and it just absolutely bucketed down. And again, sent the message to everybody, no, we're not doing it today. And that's the downfall of shooting outside. If there were scenes in there that we needed rain, we would have shot those scenes, but we didn't need any rain. And that's the joys of it.
Oh, well, I suppose just to wrap up, obviously, what's next down the pipeline? What's the next major project that's coming up?
Okay, I do have a project coming up, but again, that one's a hush hush.
All right, okay. So,
but I'm happy to share it with you because I trust you. But after that, I would like to do either. We're going on script read here. Mm-hmm. I would love to shoot either Undying Love 2 or Apartment 23. And right now, Dell's smiling. I can guarantee you. Apartment 23, if you haven't listened to it, fantastic by Dell Gibson. Fantastic plot, fantastic story. When I read that, I didn't have to listen to it. When I was reading it in my head, I fell in love with the story. And there will have to be special effects in there. If not, we've got to get some sort of dust, make it look like it's burnt. But I would love to get that Apartment 23 done. Mm-hmm. But what's in the pipelines is, I again can't tell you. But I would love.
You're not stopping. There's definitely things happening, and
I've got to do script read, Undying Love 3, mm-hmm. Dell's next step. I've got constantly writing. I'll be going out bush soon and taking my pad and piece of paper and taking my pen and pad and just constantly writing and just do that. I'll have writer's block. I know that. I'll have arthritis in my hand soon. Just writing so much. And there's nothing definite in the pipeline except for this one thing that I was telling you about. But I've had a chat to a couple of people I've completely trusted. Dell knows, you will know, and my DOP knows. Mm-hmm. And he was actually going to be part of it, but he said no. For reasons he can't be part of it, but he can be cameraman. There's nothing set. I tell a lie. Once this music video is done, she's already asked me to do the second one, do another one. So another music video is definitely in the pipeline, and my little should only take a couple of hours to shoot. My little project's definitely in the pipeline. Excellent. But I've just got to find people for that.
Well, Clayton, just have to say it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm glad we finally got to catch up and have a chat.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, we've been planning this for a while, just pesky life stuff and time differences and all that good stuff. It's part of the joys of this.
Life always gets in the way.
Obviously, folks, all the links are in the description, so make sure you check Clayton out, follow him. Get on over to YouTube channels, get a like and subscribe. You know what I mean? It's a lifeblood of these platforms. It's free. It's just a couple of button clicks, but it means the world of difference. Getting stuff out there, because the algorithm, they all support the big, corporate stuff now. They're working against us at every moment, and we've got to just band together the best we can. And if we can help each other out, just by watching a few videos, sharing them around, doing all the what's needed to happen, it does mean the world of difference.
Yeah, if you ever have any help, give me help. Yeah.
And obviously, we're going to talk about secret squirrel stuff once the stream ends. So, just
Yep.
as to say, until next time, folks, keep up the channel, do the technical things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.